Okay, excellent.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Two Andrews kicking off the day, so it's great.
Yeah, can't go wrong.
Exactly right. So, hitting Australia in May, how does it feel to be heading back?
Can't wait, to be honest. Can't wait. Really feels great. I've missed it. It's been a long time. It's like 20 odd years. So yeah, it's about time.
Now, this is being billed as a greatest hits tour as well as promoting the latest album. What does a greatest hit mean? What's that term mean to you? What makes a greatest hit?
You know what? I mean, the real in real terms, it's just the ones that are known the most, songs that are that maybe established you, the songs that maybe on the peripherals, people who aren't hardcore fans will know.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are the songs that I think established me as an artist. You know, every artist has them if they're lucky.
So in saying that, you are known for a lot of songs, Only to Be With You being huge. Now,
Yeah.
the big thing for artists these days is placement, like song placements, be it commercials, TV, movie. Where's your favorite placement been for that song, and where's the weirdest place you've heard that song?
Oh my God, that's the best placement. Um, well, you know what, hearing my songs are in platform games, like Grand Theft Auto, is
Mhm.
quite it's quite nice. Especially like there's a whole younger generation that don't really know your music, and then all of a sudden, you're getting people calling up going, "My nephew said he heard your song on Grand Theft Auto," or you know, um, and yeah, the weirdest place, I think, going around America when Only to Be With You seemed to be a Toys for Us favorite. And I
Right.
kept getting phone calls from people in America going, again, you're on Toys R Us. I'm like, why am I on Toys R Us? I don't know. Quite random, but there we go. Um, those things happen.
Did it ever make its way to becoming like music, like the instrumental elevator version?
Definitely, definitely. Also remember hearing it in Germany, in Hanover. One of my songs was it was like the sort of the Wurlitzer kind of typical traditional German instrument, and it was a song that had out there, and I was just like, and I heard it from in my hotel room. The window was open, and I was like, I know that melody. Then I realized it was my song.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Now,
that's crazy. It's crazy.
it's you had a 4 year gap between albums, and you've just released a new album this year.
Yeah.
Um, how long did it take you? Like, did it take you 4 years to get the songs together, or you just needed to feel the right time to go in and record?
Actually, later on, some of the albums have been like 2 year gap. Um, so yeah, it depends on a lot of things really. It depends on how if one album's doing really well, for example, also how long you're going to be touring and promoting that one album before you know, okay, it's time to go back in the studio and make another one. And also, yeah, it's down to inspiration. I don't want to just put out any old thing. I like to sort of know when it's right, and you write songs, and some periods you're just on a flow. You just got this flow, and everything's just happening at once. And other periods you have to wait, to actually have something in your life experience to write about.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
when you first started, albums were like the selling point, and then you toured to promote an album. Now it's
yes.
pretty much the opposite,
Mm.
and touring is the main form of income for a lot of bands. Um, how do you find touring these days compared to when you first kicked off?
I mean, I feel like that everyone's caught up with me because I'm being a live artist in my mind first and foremost. That's my main thing. And, I like to make albums, so I got new songs to play at the gigs. So
Yep,
it's always been that way around for me, really. I mean, obviously, record companies back in the day made their money from selling physical copy. But for me, it's always been about touring, and so it's kind of the way it's shifted has kind of worked in my favor. I
Awesome.
love it.
Well, you talk about the live arena, and even that has now changed. So you've gone from, a stage banked with monitors to now in ears, or banks of amps to Kempers. You know,
Mm.
how has that changed, especially being such a very good vocalist? How has that helped you with the in-ear and, no wedge situation as a vocalist? Has it helped or hindered?
It's funny because just about 12 years ago, I joined Michael and Mechanics as well. It's a sort of my part-time job. I'm singing vocals for them and playing keys as well. And I think everyone was shocked to know that I don't use in-ears. So everyone else in the band was in there, got their in-ears and like, where's your in-ears? I was like, I don't use them. I think I tried once a while back and thought, not for me. And I've only started using them on the last Mike and the Mechanics tour. But on my tours, I don't use them. So it's kind of weird. And so I'm still, to be honest, at that transitional period where I can see the pluses with using in-ears, of course, but I kind of used wedges the way a guitarist would use an amp speaker. It's part of the sound, how I drive them and everything. So I'm still getting my head around it. But everyone says that when you're using, oh, cool, sorry,
All good.
that's my mum. When you're using in-ears, that for singers it's better for pitching and stuff, and I can see how that makes sense, and I think I will eventually completely switch over. But when you're first switching over, you get really nervous of not having wedges in front of you. It feels really strange and
Yeah,
not hearing the room enough.
sure. So I was going to say, like, there's probably that ambient sort of air feeling that comes off any kind of
Yes,
speaker that you
exactly.
that you feel as a performer. So that's probably where that
Yes, it's not
hesitation
just
is.
about them. It's just not about them being accurate, because obviously in ears are way more accurate. And yes, you can technically hear yourself better. It's just a feeling thing, you
Mhm.
know. And I've met loads of other artists, especially artists that've been around a while, like who this go, don't know about that. And it's funny seeing people that just think you're completely crazy, especially if they're sort of, in their twenties and they just probably never use wedges. It's like they
Yeah.
look at you like you're completely bonkers, and I'm like, well, it's a feel thing. And to me, the gigs are about feel. I mean, accuracy is lovely, but accuracy without much soul or feel doesn't mean anything. That's just an exercise in being accurate,
No,
you know.
I see both sides. I'm the guy that
Yes.
stands in the photo pit taking the photos. So there's times where I go, yes, no wedges. But
Yeah.
I,
True.
I
Fair
was at
play.
I was at Pearl Jam 2 nights ago, and it was a bank
Yeah.
of wedges, a bank of Marshalls,
Yes.
and it number one, it sounded incredible,
There you
but
go.
number two, my photos look like old school photos, and I
Yes.
just I
Yeah.
just
Obstructed.
yeah, I was just like, I don't care that there are wedges in those photos. It looks like a live rock band.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like even that aesthetic as a guy that's been seeing shows since the late '70s, early '80s, there
Yes.
was there was something that made it look like a real rock show where you go into
Yes.
to one of these
It's quite,
shows where there's no wedges and there's modelers backstage, and it
yes. It's quite
it,
clinical.
it actually looks like they ran out of money and didn't know where to
Yeah.
find get the amps. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It makes me a bit nervous walking on stage and there's nothing on there. And, I just feel like, where's the wedges that, you can, in danger of tripping over when you forget they're there, and all the danger and the edge can get taken out because it's just everything's quite clean. And then everyone's got in here, so they're in their own little space. And, uh, you know, that's the thing for me.
The last gig I shot, they had nothing on stage. I wondered if they paid the backline bill. All right, so you know, for you,
Yeah.
you've collaborated with some great people. Who's left? Who's on the bucket list?
Jesus, bucket list, man. I'd like to work with Adele. She's one of the sort of more, because I love a lot of the older music. I love Al Green. These are like, Al Green, Stevie Wonder. They're like Olympians of music to me.
Yeah,
It's another level. And obviously, as they get older and older, the chances of you ever working with them become slimmer and slimmer. Stevie's done so many albums just on his own, doesn't do a lot of collabs, as neither does really Al Green. So it makes it that even much harder. But I'd love to work with Adele. I think she's got a good balance of contemporary new school, but with the old school thing in there. And so I think we get on really well. And we'd understand each other. And it's about that. Plus, I think she's got an amazing voice because she's a real singer. Today I was saying to someone that, there's two types of singers. There's ones that sing at the song and there's ones that sing in it,
Yep.
and the ones that sing from in it, they're in it, are the ones that really get me.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever
Yeah.
worked with Lenny Kravitz?
No, I mean, we should have, because I met him when he first came to England. No one knew who he was, and he was just about to put out the Let Love Rule album, and he played in this tiny club in London, and I didn't even know who he was. Just someone said, "Oh, you should come and check this guy out," and he came up to me and he was like, "Love your music, man. Watched your video, and I just love your down to earth vibe." And he was going on about, banging on about me, and I was like, "Oh well, thank you. I'll look out for you in the future." And then eventually he took off big time, but we never got to work together. And I think that's also something that should happen. That should be on my bucket list.
Your voices together would be insane.
Yeah, I'd love to sing with him. He's a good artist. He's a great artist, and he's got a lot of he's got a lot of groove to his music, and I love groove in music, man. So important.
So you've got an MBE, member of the British Empire.
Yeah.
When you received that, was it like, tea and crumpets with the Queen, or like just a here's a medal, here's a certificate, high five, thanks for coming?
It was kind of somewhere in between there because there definitely was a table laid out with tea and crumpets, but there was also vodka and tonic and stuff like that. And, it was crazy because I remember that day, it was like middle of the winter, but for some reason it was a really blue sky, sunny day. And in England, you don't get many of those. And we were driving into Buckingham Palace, and going through the gates, and it was really surreal. I was with my mother and my brother, who sadly not long after that passed away. So I was so happy to be there with my brother and my mum, because for my mum, it was just such a big, significant deal. When I was going to school and everyone was going, "Oh, you should stop that kid playing music," to my mum, "He'll never make anything, he's got to get a proper job." And I've never had a proper job. And, a lot of those people were my mum's friends. And so my mum could sort of say, well, he'd gone to Buckingham Palace to get an MBE for services to music, and it doesn't really get better than that. So yeah, it meant a lot more because of my mother and my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I said you're here in May. How are you going to stack the set list from the new album to the hits? Like, what's that going to look like?
Well, like tomorrow I leave for Europe, so I'm going on tour in Europe starting from tomorrow, and it's really tough to sort of whittle down your songs that you want to play and the songs that people know, and the lesser known ones are album tracks, and make a good show, because everyone goes, "Oh no, you can't leave out that one. Oh no, you can't leave out that one. You can't." And then you go, I ain't Bruce Springsteen. I'm not playing for 4 hours. You know what I mean? And so, but in a way, at the same time, it's quite good having those lots to choose from and to pick from. And when we get to Australia and New Zealand, we will obviously pull from the songs from the Permanent Shade of Blue era a lot, but also it's about songs that really rock and really have an energy live. And it's when people come to my shows, they know it's not really just about did he play that song or did he play that song. It's about the feeling and the energy and the musicality and the connection with the audience. So it really doesn't matter as much as you might think it does, but before you get into the show, what songs I play and what songs I don't.
And also, what is your pre-show prep? Like, do you not want to talk the day of the show? Do you want to go for a walk? I spoke to a guy the other day, like different kind of artist genre, And I said,
Mhm.
you're about to kick into a 16-hour flight. What do you do when you get here? He goes, go for a run. And I was
Mhm.
just, he goes, I've got to run for at least a couple of hours, no matter how tired I am. I was like, wow, like you're nuts.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
what is that for
Well,
you?
I mean, I remember flying back from New Zealand and to the to Europe, and I agreed to do a charity football match. And the day on the day I landed, and it was in Holland, and I thought, why did I agree to do that? But actually, it was like heats, and so it was a whole day of playing football, and I never got any jet lag. So there's something in that. But for me, before I go on stage, I DJ. I play a lot of James Brown. That's his, and it's something about his energy and the energy of the band at the JBs and James Brown that gets me in the right place, the right mood to go out and walk the stage and give people that energy, and it's the main thing. And we always uncork a bottle of champagne just before we go on. And one glass just puts you in the right, just one, a glass puts you in the right place for me. So that's on the rider always.
Nice. Okay, mate, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let you finish your interviews for the day and make sure you text mum back and let her know you're okay. And I'll see you in May in Brisbane.
Cheers, man. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Cheers.